is going on, Two Dudes Wolfpack? It is two dudes with attitudes. And it is AEW Friday. And as always, I am Mr. MWO, the dude of Wrestle Talk. And with me is that ginger from another ginger. Is your mama ginger? I don't know. It's Mr. Shoot. I gotta write these. Okay, I'm gonna start writing them down before I just try to wing it for no darn reason. They get worse and worse. They were good originally, but we're in week 11 now, and it's just falling apart. It's falling apart. Yeah. What's going on, Mr. Shooting Star Press?
It is Friday. It's AEW Friday. This is episode 22 of Two Dudes with Attitude. So we've been doing this for 11 weeks now, but it's day 2 of us challenging the Young Bucks to 2-on-2 basketball. So they still haven't. I posted it out there in the ethos on the TikTok and on the YouTube. I put our challenge out there. No response yet. I put it on my Instagram reel, which I'd never post on my Instagram. So I'm desperate for attention when I post on my Instagram. And this is day 2 of us officially challenging the Young Bucks to a game of 2-on-2 basketball when we're in LA.
And I've seen nothing but radio silence. They scared. Rampage, which we'll talk about. I saw those skills, and there was a lacking of them. They had to bend down to do the under the leg dribble and amateur.
They had to lift the leg up to put the ball.
Nah, they don't want none. They know. Yeah, they don't want what's good. That's right. No, that's right. They do not want none. But as always, it is AEW Friday. And as always, us here at Two Dudes with Attitudes really would like to have a good Friday with AEW and talk some positives and bring some joy to all of our AEW fans, because this is usually the most listened to podcast that we do each week. More people listen to the AEW one, which is bananas to me. So it's either a bunch of people who are AEW fans who are waiting for us to say something good, or we have a whole bunch of AEW haters who just love us coming on here because ripping Tony Khan. We got some ripping to do this week for sure. Bucks Nation Wrestling guy says, get out of here with that. Two Dudes Nation. But we got
TDN.
Yes, sir. We got we had an announcement that was, groundbreaking. We have all sorts of fun stuff. But I think you ready? Should we jump into this?
Let's do it.
We get into Rampage. All right. Yeah. So Rampage. You know what? I'm assuming you're going to talk about the Elite. Was that your cup of tea? We got to talk about this Elite AR Fox basketball mess. But I also wanted to talk about, there was a good thing on Rampage. So Rampage was Rampage. We can also talk about that ending. But we could talk about that later too in our segment. Yeah. But Orange Cassidy had a promo with Wheeler Yuta, and I was actually all for it. And here's why. Number one, I like that Mark Henry was awkwardly standing there. You know what I mean? I don't know, but he kind of sat down in the middle and kept his face in the shot a little bit. While it was he didn't exit stage right. He stayed there.
I had to double check my clock. I was like, wait, is this the main event little interview that Mark Henry's doing? And then I paused Rampage and I was like, there's still 35 minutes left of the show. So I was like, unless this is the 35-minute match that they're gonna have. Yeah, but it was just, I didn't know why he was there. It was fun.
No, he was just hanging out with Orange Cassidy. He's so anyway, and I was and then in walks Wheeler Yuta. And it's funny because I completely forgot Wheeler Yuta was part of Orange Cassidy, the best friends, all this stuff. So this is what I wanted to get at, which was a good story, was that that's long-term storytelling. They could have, I'm not saying they would building this feud, but he wanted to challenge him. He's a little upset. He's got what he's got. He's got the title. He's feeling a little bit, pushed away. You chose this guy over me. And Orange Cassidy delivered the awesome line of, I was never your mentor or teacher. I was your best friend. Classic line. And this is what I've been talking about with Orange Cassidy since the beginning, is that since they put the strap on him, he's still his, comedy act. But now he has that realness to him. He was serious. He was intense. He put the belt up because Wheeler Yuta called him out for being a comedy act, basically, and was I don't even think you take your championship seriously. And he held that stuff up and was come get it. And it was awesome. I dug it. It's weird to me that a promo for AEW was my highlight of the show, but I had to bring it up. It was for sure the highlight to me was that was that promo in the back. And then Mark, like right when they done, Mark like then bolted. You can kind of see him like get up and go. And I was like, why are you leaving now? But yeah. Other than Mark Henry, it was good stuff.
Yeah, no, I thought that was my highlight of the night too. It made me excited about Dynamite. I like you said, I completely forgot he was part of the Best Friends as well. So I'm glad that they brought that back. You never really see AEW do that very much, and they did it, and I got to give them props for it. So, yeah, and then we'll probably talk about that match when we get into Dynamite, I'm sure. But yeah, I was pumped about it. That's how you get people excited about a match. You have a story, you get people invested, and they did that with Wardlow the week before with his little interview, and now they're doing it with Wheeler Yuta and Orange Cassidy. Hopefully, it's not a one-off thing. Hopefully, this is something that continues and it becomes a trend moving forward for AEW.
Yeah, definitely. All right,
but
we got a couple.
Let's talk about our boys, Nick and Matt Jackson, and Kenny Omega, the guys who are scared to ball us. My Alexa's going off. I didn't even say Alexa. But let's talk about the ballers that are the elite. That I think their skills. Their skills were on display, like we said, and they ain't ready for us. They don't want to go 2-on-2 with us because they could barely go against Top Flight. And, but that match, I mean, I was torn on this at first. I was torn on all the goofiness. I was torn on all the basketball stuff. At first, I thought it was like, when I was watching it, I was like, this is really, really dumb.
Yeah.
And then the crowd got into it, and they were chanting defense.
Yeah.
Defense. And I was like, do they think this is stupid too? And that's why they're doing it? Or
are they mocking them? Right. Yeah.
Or are they invested? But I thought that was freaking hysterical when they were doing the defense chant. It kind of made me enjoy the match a little bit more when I heard that going on. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was what it was. It was a 10-minute match that everybody did their flashy moves. Everybody did their there's no storytelling in the match. There's no it was just a bunch of flippy flops and moves, and everybody did their finishers, and then the elite get the win. And then the whatchamacallit, the House of Black came out, and or they didn't come out. The lights just went off.
The lights, yeah.
And so I think that's a clear-cut sign of what's to come for the elite at Revolution. So
no, they were on the stage. They were on the stage.
That
was Rampage when they were on the stage. Yeah, because Dynamite they did like a pro, but yeah. Remember, it was like them,
you're right.
Yeah, they were like, I think there was two of them. The girl was there, and Malachi wasn't that, or was that the segment? I'm getting them mixed up, but
yeah, I think they just showed up for a couple of seconds. If I'm remembering correctly.
I think so. I think the lights, and they were like on the stage or something,
and they didn't. That was it, and they didn't do anything. But I thought it was good. I thought that part was good. That made me excited about what they're doing with Revolution. Hopefully, House of Black wins the belts at Revolution, and not
it needs to happen.
It needs to happen. Not the elite, but yeah. I mean, this match, the antics in it's not going to be for everybody. I don't think. It's certainly one of those matches where it's just kind of a screwball comedy type match, like a Disney movie type match. But it just
High School Musical.
It was okay. I'm not going to go giving this 5 stars or anything, but it was what it was, and I mean that's really how Rampage was as a whole. It was what it was.
It was what it was. Yeah, and like I don't know, they did a damn jump ball. Like the ref pulled a whistle out and was like, insane. They like did a jump ball. I mean, I don't know. Like you said, the crowd was getting into it. They were chanting it. I thought it took it away from me, but they just wrestled not too long ago. So I guess if they're going to wrestle again, you might as well give it something different. You knew the elite were going to win. It's a Rampage, and it was what it was. I just think the TK, I mean, he must be getting something for all this. I mean, they came out in tank tops, for crying out loud. Tank tops. All-Star Weekend, Utah tank tops. Like, holy cow. Like, talk about product placement. It was like, I don't know if the elite got paid for that because they're like the VPs. So is that like a thing? I don't know. It was a little too much for me, but the match is what it was. But we definitely aren't going to do 2 weeks for Rampage. But really quick, the main event, I just had to talk about real quick that Dustin Rhodes can bring it, right? Goldust is the man. Swerve can bring it. But I thought it was a little odd that they would have Swerve, who's on this like rampage of beating second, third generation wrestlers, whatever he's doing, had to get disqualified to not lose to Dustin Rhodes. I don't know how that's pushing Swerve's stock. I thought that was a little bizarre to me. I don't know. I was lost with that, but what say you? I mean, Swerve was finished. He was literally about to lose to Dustin Rhodes. I don't think that's the second, third generation wrestler he should be like dropping to, and that's no shot on Dustin because I love Dustin Rhodes and I think he's in prime. But I just thought it was a weird booking right there. I mean, have him cheat to win. Don't have him like have to get like his help to pull. And I know they beat him up afterwards or whatever, but you could have just done that with him just jumping in and cheating to win or something, or jumping in and just beating him up in the match. Like, don't have him 1-2 and then have to be pulled out, because now all I know is that Swerve can't even beat Dustin Rhodes. So how is he going to beat anybody in the elite? You know, not at the elite, but like the top tier of AEW.
Right, yeah.
I just thought it was weird ending booking. I don't know.
It reminded me of when Sami Zayn would take all those bullets for Roman Reigns, but because what was that guy, the Parker Boudreaux or whatever his name is, like took the bump for Swerve, and then it was a hot mess. And then Keith Lee coming out at the end, you know, he looked like I don't even know, like he's got this new look, and he looked like he's aged significantly since the last time he was in the ring. Like I don't know what was going on with him, but you know, I like Keith Lee and I think he can go, and I think he's, you know, he's one of the best wrestlers that they have, but AEW's not doing him right. Yeah, that was that was. That was weird.
Clean shave face. I mean, he's gray and he's balding, and if you want to embrace it, embrace it. But in wrestling, you got to have like a vibe. You can't come out looking like a 60-year-old man. He just looked. He shaved his face too, so like the weight makes him look old. Like, everything about him, he just looked old and depleted, and he like even botched some of his moves. He was doing some like weird spinning thing to the guy or Boudreaux or whatever his name is, and like he missed and had to like retry it. It was all of it was the whole ending was just a hot mess. I don't know what Rampage was doing, and Keith Lee, shave that head, bro, or dye it. Like my beard is almost full gray. I dye it, like, so, and I'm not even a wrestler on TV. If I was on, I just do it for the podcast, so I'm not like looking like an old man on the podcast. I could not imagine being on national TV and look. I mean, he just it was not a good. I don't even think the crowd knew how to react. It was weird.
Yeah. It was, all of that was weird, and you know, I like Dustin Rhodes. I feel like he's the innocent bystander in all of this, because the man can bring it. The man can go. He's been wrestling. I think they said he's been wrestling across 5 decades now, and he can still, like, the man still brings it. And I think he's gotten better.
Yeah, because since the 80s, he's like 88 or 89, like late 80s. Yeah.
Yeah, he's gotten so much better since the days of Gold Dust and everything. I feel like he's getting better. He's better in his older age than he was in his prime in the WWE.
For sure.
Kudos to him. But yeah, I feel like he deserves better, and I feel like the fans deserve better than what they got at the end of that Rampage.
I agree. All right. Time to move on to Dynamite. Dynamite. All right. So many things. Let's
a lot to take in.
Geez, we only get 2 each. We might need to. So let's start off with Orange Cassidy. Once again, if there's one, I mean, we should talk about maybe the way TK. So I listen to 83 Weeks. Don't want to promote another podcast on our podcast, but Eric Bischoff talks about whenever he gets ripped on for WCW and his poor booking and everything else on what he did wrong, was that he always said they didn't have anybody who knew how to book endings. So all their endings were always awful, like Sting and Hogan and Goldberg and the laser, the taser and the poke of doom. And like, they just, everything was always convoluted. They always had like people interfering and this and that. I feel like TK, if he's doing it or somebody else, they haven't figured out. Sorry, I'm getting a little dark over here. It's raining out here. Clouds are hitting, but I think he doesn't know how to book a show. He like starts off with his best match, and then he always ends with like a match that shouldn't main event. We'll get into, but actually, let me just double up. You start with Wheeler Yuta and Orange Cassidy. They have a flippin' banger. You start out, I was like, all right, let's go, Dynamite. Like, this is what I'm talking. This match was a banger.
There's a story. Yeah.
There's a story.
The reason
It's
to be
a banger.
invested.
They have people come out, the no handshake. I'm like, okay, this is what, all right, let's go. It was like, it's all good. We're kicking on all cylinders. Orange Cassidy's showing his like evil side again. You know what I mean? He's not messing around. He's putting in work. It's like a more of a banging type of match. Nobody's bleeding. I'm like, this is like where it's at. Like, let's go AEW. It's so awesome. I mean, I'm not for Wheeler Yuta losing again. I mean, he even had his belt at Ramp. I mean, I know what we're doing, but we don't have to have him lose every single week. Like, we need to push him without losing all the time because he's going to hurt credibility eventually. But anyway, Orange Cassidy, once again, proves that he is by far the best champion in AEW. It's not even close. He's probably right now since Mox ain't having the shine, he's the MVP in AEW right now. I'm so glad when I was promoting him a long time ago, talking about how I want Orange Cassidy, and everyone said, stop, that he's been proving me right. This dude is money. Then we end it with Jon Moxley against Evil Uno. Like, what in the fudge are... Talk about unnecessary. Like, who, for one, I'm not hating on Evil Uno, but you're really going to put your number one guy. It's once again, it's like Roman Reigns closing SmackDown, wrestling. I don't know.
Elias. Yeah.
Yes. Elias.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yes. People love Elias. He's cool, but what are you like? So stupid. And I get it. He's defending Hangman. You could have done that without a main event. Why couldn't that be another match? You could have main evented any, like, why is that the main event? It ended the show, blah. And then once again, I went the whole AEW. I was super excited. No blood. Yay, you guys finally know how to wrestle without, oh, never mind. There's Moxley and Evil Uno bleeding all over the place. Cool beans. Gotta have blood. It was just like the beginning, and it's like the tale of as old as time with AEW. Start good, and then just have your Dynamite just go to kaplump all the way down till the end. I don't know who told him that main events aren't important, but you got to remember, even with movies, you can go watch a movie, and if it sucks, the whole movie's boring, but it ends amazing, you leave liking that movie because that's the last thing you remember. The last thing I remember from Dynamite is Evil Uno and Jon Moxley. What did wrestling guy? TK needs to get his ass in the ring. Big announcement should be done in the ring, or at least I agree. Or not him at all, because he can't even, at least he said, I don't even want to talk this time, but we'll get into that. But anyway, what did you think? Am I off base here? Was the match not that good? Was the
you're right.
You respect Evil Uno versus Jon Moxley? Like, and I get every match doesn't have to have like who's gonna win. Obviously, that doesn't matter, but this was like really like, no, what are you doing?
Yeah,
like,
there were so many matches that could have ended.
Even the tag team one.
The tag team match could have ended Dynamite. The MJF Bryan Danielson segment could have ended Dynamite. The Jericho
and you can
Ricky
end with
Starks,
a segment. You don't have to end in a match. Yes.
Yeah. The Jericho Ricky Starks segment could have ended Dynamite. You don't have to end with a match. This was it's the theme of AEW over the last few weeks. They start off really strong. The first hour is must-watch TV, and they do a great job that first hour. And then for whatever reason, that second hour just dips and takes a huge nosedive. And I think you're right. I think there's something to it, to where they don't know how to book an ending. They know how to get a beginning. They know how to get to the middle. But the ending becomes overbooked. It becomes a hot mess. It becomes just interference galore. Everybody's coming out. Everybody's coming, beating up everybody. And I mean, I get you're trying to sell a pay-per-view, but I feel like there's better ways to do it than what they did with Hangman and Moxley. So
I agree. Yeah,
that was not good at all. That was not the match between Orange Cassidy and Wheeler Yuta was really, really good. That was an A+ match. The match with Jon Moxley and Evil Uno was not good at all.
No, and it wasn't even good. Yeah, it's not like it was like a good pointless match like Bryan Danielson's been having. No, it was just a bad match. Yeah, it wasn't even.
Yeah, and Evil Uno bled within like 3 minutes of the match. He bled before Moxley did.
Yeah, through his mask.
Through his mask.
Bleeds through a mask.
Yeah, I thought the mask was there to protect you. But no, it was just all of it was bizarre. And again, you don't have to end on a match every single week. You can end on a segment. You can end on, somebody going through a table. You can end on a contract signing. You can end with, a backstage promo like they did with SmackDown a few weeks ago when Paul Heyman told the Usos not to come to Montreal. that's how SmackDown ended.
Yeah.
So
WWE does that right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but going on to let's talk about this tag team battle royale because Jarrett and Lethal are your winners. Really? Like that's the what? First of all, this match should still be 1-on-1. I am 100% behind this being a rematch between the Bucks and the Acclaim, or the Guns and the Acclaim.
I agree.
But Jarrett, but now you're going to make it. You're overbooking it again. You're overthinking things, overcomplicating things, and instead of it being just a traditional rematch, it's now a fatal 4-way, and we don't know two of the teams, and then we find out one of the teams, and it's Jarrett and Lethal because they won a battle royale. And there were some good teams in this match. There was, Dark Order. The rest, it was not a good night for Dark Order. Butcher and the Blade, Best Friends were in there. Top Flight's in there. You've been pushing Top Flight. They have a win over the Young Bucks, and
why not just insert them in?
Yeah, why not put them in? They've been doing great, and you don't have anything. You don't have them win. You have Jarrett and Lethal get the win.
And why not the Best Friends? They're hot right now too. Orange Cassidy and Wrestling Guy. I think this is a way for Top Flight to get the belts.
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I don't see Acclaim winning, but keep going. Well, we'll get into that. But
yeah, I don't see the Acclaim winning, but I don't like the Jarrett and Lethal. We don't need them in the tag title picture.
No.
I don't even know what to say about this. It felt like this felt flat. The crowd didn't really care for it. The crowd was hot all night long, and it felt like they kind of simmered out as soon as Jarrett and Lethal won the battle royale. I think they were expecting maybe Top Flight to win or Best Friends to win or somebody else, anybody but them.
Yeah.
And I like Jeff Jarrett. I think when he came to AEW, I thought he was going to do great things. I thought maybe he would be more of a manager type. I didn't think he was going to be in the ring as often as he is, but we don't need him in the ring. Number one, we don't need him. Number two, we don't need him in the title picture, title picture whatsoever, because again, you're supposed to be pushing your guys. You're supposed to be pushing your young guys. And instead, this is what you're giving us. And a battle royale, and then we have another one of these next week. That's the other thing to determine.
It's like the same thing, right? Is it another battle royal?
Yeah, and I think it's a Joker battle royal, so there may be a mystery team in there. I don't know.
They're already there.
Yeah, maybe FTR.
If we get there, it's fine. But and here's the thing too: is that the battle royal wasn't even good. And the ending was so stupid. B-roll's on here. There you go. The battle royal was a little whack. It was. And the ending, you can't have this, each team was throwing people over and they were catching them. It's good when you do it the first time, but you can't have every team do it. Orange Cassidy had him on his shoulders. There was one part with the Singh guy, FTR wins as a joke. See, I would assume if FTR is in it, they're going to win it. But they stopped them on their backs or whatever. And he was stopping Jarrett and Lethal from falling, right? But they weren't falling. So then I think they realized they weren't. So then they slowly were whoa, whoa, and he kind of brought them back and then pushed them back. I'm like, what is happening? You guys are holding the ropes. You don't need him. It was stupid. And the fact that they let Jerry get the win, and maybe it's because his father passed away and he's been a trooper. Props to Jeff Jarrett.
That's true.
Continuing on. I heard on a podcast, I think 83 Weeks, where Conrad said that he had heard, I don't know if he talked to him or whatever, but the mom basically told Jeff Jarrett, what are you doing at home? Get your ass on that plane, go to Dynamite. Your dad would not want you to not obligate and continue to wrestle. So get your butt to the place. And Jarrett was like, yes, ma'am. And he went. His own mama was like, no, you're 100%. And he was like, you're wrestling, so get your butt in there. So, so he's doing it in honor of his dad, which is awesome, but props to him. So I think that's why they're keeping them in. But I'm over it. We don't need Jarrett in them anymore. And it's just the same thing. These are the same people who have been wrestling. So my thing is that it was a hot mess for the tag team division in general. The Guns aren't clicking. They're not getting reactions. Their promos have been mediocre. Them coming out has not been good. I think they already regret this decision. Everybody who got mad at me for saying it was like the worst decision ever were like, give it a chance. It's because you have to build the Acclaimed. And now the Acclaimed are going to like that's not even what they're doing. So you guys were wrong. That's not what they're doing. They just gave them the belts for fun. Like, why not have the Acclaim lose it in a battle royal, like lose it in the 4-way? You know what I mean? At least you have an out. It's your most over attraction. Yeah. Yes. So where are you going with this? I mean,
I keep hearing people saying that the Acclaim doesn't need the tag team titles, that they're bigger, but I don't know if I agree with that. And I think if you have the hottest act in the company, you need to put the belts on them. Here's people a reason to watch them.
Well, here's the thing, right? I see where that point is, because you have a Seth Rollins, you have a Sami Zayn. You can have hot people, hot Bryan Danielson. They don't need the belt. I get it. They're over no matter what. But the Acclaimed had the belt and you took it from them. So that's a little bit of a different situation. It's not like the Acclaim's the most overact and they're trying to like take it from FTR or take it from the Guns. And you're like, no, they don't need it. You know what I mean? But they had the belts and they didn't even have that good of a run. They had it for like, 4 months? Like, no, they should have kept it. And it's not like they gave it to the Guns and the Guns have now been built. They haven't been built at all. The Guns look like idiots. And they're trying not to. So yeah, the tag team division was a miss. Mr. B-Roll saying FTR with a feud with Lethal Jarrett would be interesting feud. It would, and who else would they feud with? They're gonna have to keep the titles a little bit. But I mean, I don't understand why you didn't. Here's the thing: we're not saying it's happening. I haven't heard. I don't listen to rumors. But if FTR is coming back and they're gonna win the Battle Royal, then I'm even more against this decision than from the beginning, because you're gonna tell me right now, Acclaimed versus FTR at Revolution wouldn't have sold pay-per-views. That could have main evented. That could main event 100%. Over MJF and Bryan Danielson. So then you really missed 100%. The boat. So I'm even more against it if you were going to get back to FTR anyway. So that's my rant on my Scissor Me Daddy boys. And that's right.
I completely agree. I think that if you're going to at least have some intrigue to the pay-per-view, right? Let the Acclaimed hold the title and let there be some mystery. Maybe we don't know who their opponents are going to be at Revolution, and then let it be FTR. And I'd be okay with it if FTR came back as heels and took down the most over group in the company. And then, I would love it. But what they're doing right now, this fatal 4-way, I don't know. It just feels way too overcomplicated, and they didn't necessarily need to do that.
I agree. What's next? Man, there's so many things I'm trying to figure out, because we got to talk about the announcement too. And there's also MJF, and there's also, I want to talk about something a little bit more basic. I'm gonna go with this triple threat match that was announced. I'm gonna go with this Hayter, Saraya, and Ruby. We obviously knew they were getting there. But I have questions, because for one, I like it. This is where I'm okay with a triple threat. Makes sense, because there's so many ways it can go, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you got Ruby, who's obviously trying to side. You got Hayter, who's with, Britt Baker. You got Saraya, who's with Toni Storm, but they're both trying to fight over Ruby. So, who's going to win? It should be Jamie Hayter. She hasn't really had much of her title run, but is she ready to drop it? AEW loves taking titles off of people pretty quickly. So we have Jamie Hayter. Is Saraya going to win? Does she come back to win this? Is Ruby Soho going to win and she's going to be like the wild card? Or is Britt Baker going to cost Jamie Hayter her match in this, and one of them are going to win? Is Ruby going to turn on Jamie Hayter and side with Saraya and be like, this is lay it down, like boom, do the finisher. Saraya gets the pin, and now they've started that faction that I was talking about earlier. Or is Britt Baker gonna cost and do what I said and do the female NWO, where it's Toni Storm, Saraya, and Britt Baker is leading it with Saraya as champ? There's so many ways this can go. I'm intrigued. I like it. One of the few matches I'm excited for on this pay-per-view. So I'm actually intrigued. Once again, story. It's because it's had story. It has a story. Even though the fighting over Ruby's dumb, it's still a story.
Yeah, it is still a story, and it's actually intriguing because there's so many different directions it can go, like you mentioned, and I'm curious to see which way they go. There's I like the idea of a female NWO with Britt Baker leading the charge with Saraya and Tony Storm. But yeah, I mean, I think hopefully we'll get some answers, and hopefully it's not just another standard triple threat match with no with no ending or no closure or anything. Give us something to hang our head on after that pay-per-view. But I do think Saraya is going to leave there with the championship.
You think it's a no-brainer? Yeah.
For now, yeah. I think that's the reason they brought her back. She has wins over Britt Baker. She has multiple wins over Britt Baker because they won that tag team match too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's going to be. I think I would like to see Hayter have a long championship reign, but I think for the story purposes, I think it makes sense to go to the what do they call them? The freelancers or whatever that group is called, with Saraya and Tony Storm.
Is that what their name is?
I think so. Yeah. I think it's the freelancers. It's something along those lines. That's what commentaries refer to them as.
Yeah.
So I would like to see. I feel like the title needs to be on one of those people, and then make you want to take them down, similar to the Bloodline.
Everybody and have Hayter chase down
the top stable.
Yeah, and have Hayter chase it, because you can have the baby face is always better when they're chasing. So we'll see what happens. But either way, I mean, whatever one it goes, Hayter needs to retain. Mr. B-Roll says, yeah. I mean, like I said, I wouldn't be upset either way. Like I think Hayter should. Maybe Paige, aka Saraya, wins. Oh, here's a new friend. I haven't seen this man. What's going on? What's going on? Welcome to the podcast. Two dudes with attitudes. If you want, because this is your last thing to bring up, if you don't want to bring up the TK big announcement, we can end it with the TK if you have something else you want to talk about. So, all right, let's hear it.
Oh, let's see. Let's talk about the MJF.
You do. All right.
Yeah, let's talk about
I'm intrigued. I want to know what the people who are listening think, what you think. I've read some people loved it. Some people were like meh about it. So,
Yeah, I'm torn on it because I liked the promo. I thought it was a good promo. It's one of MJF's best promos recently. He's kind of been struggling a little bit, in my opinion. But I always like it when wrestling goes from, it goes to personal levels and it kind of blurs that line of reality and truth, or reality and script. And in this case, I think that I thought they nailed it. I thought MJF bringing up Bryan Danielson's children and talking directly to them and saying, being that weird, creepy uncle that's like, "Hi guys, Uncle Max here. I'm gonna beat your dad's head in." And I just,
he kept saying "daddy," actually, or dad.
Yeah, I'm gonna beat dad's head in, and and then he talked about giving him early onset CTE.
Yeah, they went hard, man. They did. Like...
And then he talked about his breakup. Apparently, MJF is a free man again, or unless it's he's no longer engaged, and he's I mean, this
could have been an act. I don't know.
Yeah, she apparently scrubbed everything of him on social media, but again, that could also still be her committing to. But he also motorboated a girl on a pay-per-view.
He did. He did.
So after being engaged.
Yeah, but that's also his. I mean, it's like kissing a girl on a screen. You know what I mean? You can have love scenes in a show. I mean, I'm assuming those girls are planted. You cannot just motorboat a random fan in the crowd.
Oh no,
that's called sexual harassment. So all that's. I'm assuming you get to like talk about like no matter how much you like a guy, I could be all. I mean, there's a ton of WWE girls. I would love to have them just rub my boot, but if they did, I would probably be like, I'm gonna get paid off this. You should not have put your boobs in my face, Missy. That's harassment.
Yeah.
B-Roll says, yeah, he said the kid's name. Yeah, he did. It was next level. But I want to talk about that too. But continue. Sorry.
Yeah, I just think that it was Danielson to me that was missing a little something in this, and because he even said, "Don't talk about my children, or I will kick the shit out of you." And then he proceeded to talk about his children and talk to his children, and Danielson didn't do anything. It was the comment about CTE that led to Danielson finally having enough. And it was like, okay, really? He just disrespected your children, but CTE is what's going to set you off. It should have been the other way around, but I don't know. The promo was good. It was some of MJF's best work over the last few weeks, but I don't know. There's something about this match it's missing something for me. It's just something about I don't know if it's the build up. I don't know if it's but I'm just not as excited about it as maybe I should be, and it's a shame because this is MJF's first pay-per-view title defense, and I'm just not. I'm kind of ready for it to be over with because I feel like we've been talking about MJF and Danielson since January. But I did like that they brought up William Regal again. They're trying to tell a story. It's to
like 3 times.
As to how this whole thing started. Was MJF kicking William Regal in the head and booting him out of the company and sending him out on his way. So yeah, it was good. I didn't think it was great. There's just something is missing in this match. Something is missed in the build. Something it just doesn't have me excited, and I don't know why.
Well, what's missing is a story and intrigue. Because here's the thing, right? It's kind of like it's like what people were saying with Bray Wyatt. He challenged Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley, and people are like, okay, like I can see him maybe wanting to wrestle one of these people, but who? Yeah. Why? You can't just have things just come out of the blue. And even though I get MJF beat up William Regal and Daniel Bryanson came out to save him, there was nothing before that. There was really no point for them to wrestle other than he's next in line. And then the buildup has just been rehashed of, let me make you challenge other people to earn your thing. So that's not a story. And now we're here and he's just bringing up personal stuff. So there's no story. And once again, not everything has to be the bloodline. Nothing will ever be the bloodline storyline.
No, I agree with that.
Even Eric Bischoff himself, for all those people, when I said the bloodline was the best storyline, and people were like, NWO, Eric Bischoff said the bloodline storyline is 1,000 times better than the NWO storyline. The bloodline storyline is the greatest story ever. You can't always have that, but you have to have a story. We needed something other than everybody who knows William Regal is literally working in the gorilla position at WWE right now, like every week. There's pictures of him backstage. He's literally working for them. And you're telling, I get you got to it's a story or whatever else, but it's just not where it needs to go. And MJF finally cut a good promo. He didn't make it stupid or weird. It was a fire promo, but he once again went back to like his old, the whole like, woe is me. It was kind of like did I feel for Bryan Danielson or was I feeling for Jon Moxley because nobody wants to love him? Like, once again, he was dogging Bryan Danielson by saying, woe is me. My fiance left me. I have no kids. I have nobody. Nobody loves me. So you know what? Since nobody loves me, I'm going to make sure I beat you up to your kids. So now I'm going to talk to your kids. Don't talk about my kids or I'm going to kill you. So Dada is going to get beat up. And no one is between, not even a ref. He literally started talking about your kids. And there was one part where he like looked and then went back to it. And I was like, okay, at least he like looked to make sure, but he had no care. Then he casually walked into the ring, still talking mess. And Bryan Danielson was like, well, I told you. And like, he literally chases him for no reason. And now when he's like, dude, you bring up my kids, I'm going to murder you. And like, why didn't he get cut off halfway? Why didn't Moxley, why didn't MJF do this at the top of the ramp? So at least he could have like went up and like, yo, I'll leave. Like, something. It was just it just ended weird again. Once again, it's like you have a good premise, you have a good point, and then it got weird. And at least he hit him, punched him, did some stuff. I was happy with that. With them at least finally getting physical. Because I'm not anti not getting physical, but I think you're right. I have no intrigue for this main event. It's a 60-man match, so I'm already kind of out of it anyway. Because I'm not a big Iron Man match fan. It's way too long.
9-hour pay-per-view.
Yeah, it's going to be way too long. But I'm not really like gung ho for this card, really at all for this pay-per-view, and it's their fault. I mean, you have two. Once again, this is the perfect example of how wrestling isn't all that matters. You need story. And are they going to have a banger? Yes. I guarantee they'll have a good match. It's going to be a good. I guarantee every match on this card is going to be a 5-star Dave Meltzer match. But does it mean I want to watch it? No. I can watch them all wrestle on Dynamite after. So there's nothing right now minus the triple threat women's match that's really intriguing me to get this pay-per-view. So I agree with you. I thought it was a good promo, but I thought it was weirdly done. And Bryan Danielson making threats and not following through. Like, why even say that comment then?
Yeah, exactly. I think that was the one thing that I noticed was
like you didn't have to say it.
Yeah. Either don't say anything or follow up on your threat. Be the throw down with the champion because that's what people want to see. They wanted to see the two guys throw hands, and But yeah,
and the data thing went on too long anyway, so he could have interrupted it. He could have had him say it for a couple and then been like, all right, and then go attack him right away. That would have been more like better than the CTE line. I mean, and you could save that for net. You still got another week. So I mean, I don't know.
And I have a feeling, I do have a feeling they're gonna Brie Bella somehow is gonna be involved next week or something.
Can she though? Because isn't she Legends contract? I mean, they
I don't
still
know.
like promote her. I think when you're in that Legends contract, you can't.
Yeah,
it's just like WWE. Like, you know, Paul Heyman was bringing up Dustin Rhodes and Brandy and everybody else. They're not going to come. I don't get why we're doing it. Once again, I don't like this. I like personal stuff, but why don't you say brother and wife? Like saying names and bringing up certain things and both organizations. I just think it's so stupid because there's no, like I said, I used to write screenplays, and when you write a movie, you never talk about anything that isn't a point of the movie, right? You're not just going to talk about some girl randomly and then she's never brought up again, right? Everything that spoke has to have a meaning towards the end of the film. There's no end game with this. Bree's not going to come, so why even get her involved? Just say, you know, at least he didn't say he was going to keep his wife warm at night when he's
and that's another. I think maybe that was another thing too. Was it felt very much like that similar sleazy Paul Heyman promo that we just saw. And maybe that's why I didn't like it as much as other people did, because I feel like we just saw something. Yeah, I mean, it was Paul Heyman's talking about sleeping with Cody Rhodes' wife, and Danielson's MJF's talking smack to Danielson's children. But I don't know. I just felt like we just saw that on Monday Night Raw. It felt very similar, had a lot of similar things. And maybe that's why I did not care for it. So,
yep. I agree. And then really quick, let's just end it on this note. The TK big announcement that he had with Renee Paquette. And as soon as they are doing, TK is like, I don't know. Why was TK even there? Why didn't he just say Adam Cole has a big announcement on behalf of TK? I don't get why he was even there at the moment. But anyway, he talks. He's like, I have a huge announcement. Never mind. I'm gonna have my special guests come in here, and then Adam Cole walks in with like shaggy hair, looking like he like just woke up. And the big announcement is that basically they're doing what wrestlers and professional wrestlers have never wanted, and they're gonna do behind the scenes of what happens. I'm assuming behind the curtain, which is not a thing that's supposed to be allowed. I get that we are in the reality era and the era of where we understand that it's scripted and fake. I kind of torn with this. Parts of me has always like been intrigued, right? Like I want to see the wrestlers backstage hanging out and having a good time, or what goes on in the gorilla position, you know, when HBK was in there, and I like seeing it. But at the same time, it's going to be hard to promote your show as real, or MJF to come out and cut these type of fire promos with Bryan Danielson if the day before you have a 1 hour special of Bryan Danielson and MJF like working the match. Or that's what I got at. Is that what it is, right? It's not just like, this isn't like The Diary, right? Where like we're gonna follow Adam Cole at home, and I thought it was like behind the scenes is what they said. So this is like an hour show of what goes on with AEW when we're not on camera, and I don't like it. I don't like. I've said this 1,000 times. I don't like gossip. I don't like because I like to just watch wrestling as it is, the show. I don't want to be taken away from it. I understand. I follow social media. I know who's what and I get that. But like now that you're making it a thing, I don't know. I'd rather have them have done something like with like Tough Enough or something like that. I would have much rather have something like that than like a behind the scenes reality show. The only good thing we got out of it was Adam Cole announced that he's coming back in March, but they also didn't give us a date for either of them. So it really makes me doubt either of these things are even happening in March. Because if you don't got a date, that's a problem. So, and not only that, if you have another hour to blow of time that TBS or TNT is allowing you, make Rampage 2 hours. Why would you give it to a stupid behind the scene? Unless you like it, maybe people, I haven't read about it, but why not give it to Rampage? So Rampage can be 2 hours, which it should be, and do it that way, unless they refuse to do it. I don't know, but I was kind of meh with it. And I hate every time TK says it's a big announcement, I always know it's going to be a meh announcement. It's never been big, ever. Yeah. Even when he bought ROH, it wasn't big. ROH was already dead. It's not, I don't know. It's never like a big announcement.
I was hoping for a streaming service to be announced. I was hoping for
that. Yes.
Yeah. Something along those lines that, starting March 6th, when we have Rampage or Revolution, the first pay-per-view, you guys can all watch watch it on HBO Max or something like perfect. Okay, great. But no, I didn't hate the announcement. I hated the announcement. I hated the way it was done. I didn't like, Tony Khan. It was much ado about nothing.
Yes.
But I'm going to give the show a chance, because every time I think, man, AEW, they've got to be on the verge of being in trouble. They've got to, their ratings aren't very good. They've been doing cutbacks at Warner Discovery and with the merger and everything. And I'm like, AEW, like, I don't know if they have a good future on TNT or TBS. And then they just when I think maybe they're on the verge of being potentially canceled, they get another show added to them. So I don't think that's going to be happening anytime soon with this announcement. So I guess that's a good thing.
Yeah.
But
and
also,
go ahead.
But I'll give the show a chance, because I don't think it's a reality show where they're following around like Adam Cole as he's getting ready for his comeback tour, or they're going to go to Britt Baker's house and talk about what it's like to get ready. I mean,
okay with
that. But I'm okay with it if it truly is a backstage show that that gives characters a chance to develop their characters a little bit better.
Yeah.
Because people that you don't have on TV, I would love to see somebody like Ethan Page going, having a backstage moment where he's calling out AEW leadership and being like, why am I not on TV this week? Or, something to further. We see a backstage brawl. Ricky Starks is fighting backstage with Daniel Garcia, and we just see more of it, and we get to whatever they can do to develop the characters that they have and get more people on TV so that we can have a reason to care about them, because that's been the issue with them lately. Is they have wrestlers on TV 1 week and then you don't see them for 3 weeks. And hopefully this gives them a chance to get more people on TV and give them an opportunity to shine.
Yeah.
But
okay.
But
I'm
if
not
that's
completely crapping on it, but yeah.
If that's what it is, I think that's my biggest problem with it. Is they just said, oh yeah, it's going to be a behind the scenes all access show.
No details.
And it's coming sometime in March, and I'll be in the ring that day too. And that was it. And I was like, okay. Yeah. And Mr. B-roll, he says that the bigger announcement is that there's no Adam Cole at Revolution.
I agree. Is he not ready? I don't like, what's another week? I don't get it. But and I agree. I don't want to poo-poo on it because if it's something like, hey, I'm actually excited for the big announcement, but it was not presented properly. B-roll, perfect. That's 100% true. That's what I mean. There was no details, because if it's showing him recovering, it's an hour of clips and Britt Baker helping him and that kind of stuff, I'm all for that. But if it's behind the scenes, I'm not for it. So I don't know what it is. And it's also how it's going to be done. And sometimes, their presentation is good and sometimes it's not. So it all...
Impact, TNA used to have a show that aired after Impact. I think it was called Reaction or something like that. And that's what I'm hoping All Access is. It was giving people all access, I guess, to the Impact wrestlers, where they would interview Kurt Angle after his main event match, and it would just show him in the locker room, and he's dejected because he lost his chance to become number one contender. Yeah. Or the night that Bobby Roode turned on James Storm, they interviewed James Storm in the locker room to talk about what it was like to lose his best friend of all these years. And I thought that show was well done. It didn't last very long, but I thought that was pretty well done, because it was still kind of giving you a little bit more character depth of the wrestlers. But again, we don't know what this is going to be, and I think that was my big problem with it. So
yeah. All right. Well, that was AEW. We weren't as bad to it as I thought we were going to be. No, we found some positives. Nice. We found some positives. I actually thought this Dynamite was better than the past few. So it's at least they're building story. That's what we need. At least it's not
and Christian Cage and Jungle Boy, there's another story. And yeah. So they're doing something.
Yeah. But with that said, now it's time to maybe tear them up. Yes. Let's get into our segment for the week. We're going to end it off with our podcast with this segment. What segment is it? Let's see.
We are going to bring back our famous dude.
World famous.
Dude.
And this segment is when we look at TK in the face and we go, dude. because why did you make that decision? We'll probably go back a couple times. So as always, gentlemen first, better looking people first, and gingers always get to go first.
All right.
Mr. Shooting Star Press.
All right, TK. Why? Oh, why does Moxley have to bleed every week? Like, why? Can we like, why? Like, we get it. Like, okay, he likes to do it, but you got caught on TV blatantly blading 3 weeks ago, with Moxley literally takes a blade and rubs it across his forehead, and you would think, oh crap, that should not have been shown on TV. We need to get to the bottom of this. Release a statement. Do something. Go out there and say, no. Have a meeting with John Moxley and just say, hey, stop, like, lay off the blood for the next like 3 or 4 months or whatever. You know, you can come back. You can, if you bleed naturally, that's okay. But no more bleeding. And then what happened the next week? He bled. What happened last week? He bled. What happened this week? He bled. And it's just, why? We don't need the blood. We don't need the blood.
No.
We don't need blood. Just stop it. That's it. That's
Dude.
my rant.
Dude, you stole one of mine. Dude. And yes, like I said too, it was like such a productive AEW Dynamite because I was like, yay, they're not going to bleed. Yay, they're not going to this and that. And then there it was. And it happened. Yeah. So close. He was so close. And so pointless. It's off the air. Maybe he's just like, maybe he like gets off on it. Maybe that's like his thing, like cutting himself in his forehead. He's like, yeah, maybe Tony. Maybe she's like, oh yeah, scar up, baby. I don't know.
I don't get it, man.
I don't either. At all. I don't understand, but good dude. I'm going to go with TNT, AEW, TBS, whatever, and they're promoting of their stuff. Now, I know I have complained about WWE here and there, about their Chucky stuff, but they've been pretty darn good with not throwing it in our faces since Vince McMahon has left. AEW literally had a stage set up to look like Game of Thrones when the new Game of Thrones came out. They literally had another one too, where it was like the entire, I forgot what show it was, or everything, like they based their entire Dynamite on a show. Okay. Dude, TK. Yes, dude, TK. You can promote something without having your people come out in All-Star Weekend tank tops with basketballs, making your, not even declaring your match a basketball in the nuts match, and you literally are doing it. Then people are, Chris Jericho had the same thought. He literally watched that match for 8 minutes and then said, oh, well, I guess basketballs are legal in this match. Even he was confused. What's B-roll saying? In that match, you had 2 appropriate cases of bleed. Oh, Evil Unos was a good use of it, and Mox was pointless. Yes. And it was so, dude, like, what are tank tops? They came out in tank tops. Like, that would have been like all of them wrestling in Game of Thrones gear. Like, what are we doing, Tony Khan? If you need that money and you need it to help, or maybe the company's saying, hey, this is how we're going to keep you going, there's so many different ways to do it. Maybe have the apron that instead of AEW, have it say TNT All-Star Weekend, or promoting it with the announcers as they talk about it before every commercial break. You don't have to have your talent rocking all-star gear and dribbling basketballs around where you did a jump ball. The crowd was chanting defense. You had a jump ball. They had a jump ball.
They literally had, the referee had a whistle.
Yes,
he blew
it and threw the ball in the air and they jump balled. It was the stupidest thing ever. I don't understand it. TK, dude.
All right, yeah, that's a good
one. Dude.
Oh, gosh.
That was not. Yeah. The thing is, okay, I would be okay with it if they were in Utah.
Okay, there you go. Right.
They weren't in Utah. It was they were in, I don't even know where the Dynamite was last week, but they were on the East Coast. I think they were in Laredo, Texas, I think, because MJF had that racist promo where he says he knows no habla inglés or no habla español.
yes.
And so they were somewhere in Texas. So yeah, like if they were in Utah, I would okay. I can get the All-Star games tomorrow. Like we want to promote it. It's on our channel. Makes sense. But yeah, but everything said All-Star Utah, All-Star Utah. And I was like, but you're not in Utah
at all. And they even bumped you. They even bumped you for the All-Star weekend, and you're praising them.
They bumped you to like the 6 o'clock hour too. Yeah. Like nobody watched Rampage last Friday. And you named your show Slam Dunk, which
yes, it was. Yeah, that's right. It was called Slam Dunk. Oh man.
Yeah, that was not good. That was not good.
You got another one?
Yeah, we talked a little bit about it earlier.
We talked about all of these. Yeah, probably.
But B-Roll actually brought it up. Kudos to Mr. B-Roll. But
B-Roll.
Adam Cole not being on Revolution. This guy has been back. He's starting to become Bray Wyatt to me. The AEW version of Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt's been back in the WWE since October, and he's had one match.
Yeah.
Adam Cole's been good. Yeah, Adam Cole's been back in AEW since January, and he hasn't had a match yet. And he most likely won't have a match at Revolution unless something happens this coming Wednesday on Dynamite or tonight on Rampage, whatever the theme is this week. But are they like? He had one of the loudest pops when he came back. He's probably one of their biggest stars. And he's cleared to come back. Obviously, he says he's coming back in March. Revolution's in March. Like, why not make his debut? Make that part of your announcement. What's his debut date? So the fact that he may not be on AEW Revolution, it baffles me.
Me too.
Like I would be intrigued because I'd want to know, even if you do the mystery opponent thing, I would be intrigued because I get to see Adam Cole, and then we get to see a potential new signing or somebody else to go against, and it would make you intrigued about the show. But yeah, I'm not feeling Adam Cole not being on AEW Revolution.
Dude.
I 100% agree with you. Another good one. All of the ones I had were already talked about, so I'm going to try to wing it here.
That's fine.
I have one that's not completely for TK. I have one that's for my man, Mr. Chris Jericho. Jericho. Dude, I'm assuming, get to book most of your decisions. You get to book most of your stuff. You get to book yourself. I'm assuming he has most say, right? I'm assuming he gets to talk about it. And then TK is like, yeah, run with it. You're Chris Jericho. He had a segment with Ricky Starks. And Ricky Starks looked good. He came out. He cut a good promo. And out comes Chris Jericho. And he decides that he is going to talk his mess with Ricky Starks. And then basically say, I am wrestling you ever. No chance. Yada, yada, yada. Ricky Starks turns it on him and basically clowns him and calls him whatever he wants and swerves Strickland's Chris Jericho in deciding, where he does the awesome click. That was the one plus. He did the you just made the list click, but he signs it off, puts it to him, and then says, nobody tells Chris Jericho what to do, and walks out looking like a complete and utter moron. And then they do the stupid like SNL thing where they pan perfectly to Ricky Starks, and he looks at the camera and does like a ching. Got him. I was waiting for the credits to roll, like the segment was so good, and then it just ended so stupid. Chris Jericho, I get it. You want to push other people and this and that. The fact that you're wrestling Ricky Starks again doesn't really make any sense to me. It's going to be a good match, and Ricky, he better beat you, but all odds are probably saying Jericho wins because he always randomly wins again whenever he's trying to do this. But that segment, we didn't need the cheese ball. We didn't need you looking like a dumb. You're way too smart to fall for that trick. It was like Bugs Bunny, right? Like, no, yes, and Daffy Duck, no, yes, no, yes, yes, no, yes, no, like Roger Rabbit, and then he takes it. I said yes. Like, it was so Looney Tune, so stupid. So Chris Jericho, this week's dude goes to you. Dude.
Yeah,
that was not his best moment. And
no.
the weird thing too, to me, was at first the segment. I was okay with Ricky Starks just having that contract, and then all of a sudden this random dude, Peter
I
Avalon,
forgot about
comes
Dolph Ziggler's.
Yeah,
no, wasn't it Dolph Ziggler's brother, Ryan Nemeth?
It was Ryan. I don't know if this was a botch or what, but Ryan Nemeth's music hit because you saw his name on the screen.
Yeah.
But it was Pretty Peter Avalon who came out.
Oh,
and I don't know if they're like a team or if they're part of a tandem or
maybe. Okay,
I don't know, but it said Nemeth on the actual screen.
Yeah.
And but the commentators were saying it was Pretty Peter Avalon. So I found that to be, and then Jericho completely lays him out and
is like, no, I want it. Yes.
Yes. And then he agreed to keep the Jericho Appreciation Society backstage because he didn't want Ricky Starks to pull any shenanigans and trick him. And then even the reverse psychology from Ricky Starks. Well, I don't think I can beat you again. And Jericho's like, yeah, I don't think you can beat me. Why don't you prove it? And then, like
Daffy Duck and
that's what it was.
Bugs Bunny. It was so Looney Tune. It was so stupid. Bad. So Sammy Guevara's wrestling Ricky Starks on Friday, is he not? On Rampage. He challenged him last Rampage. So you're gonna have Sammy Guevara come out and lose. It's just all bad, dude.
Yeah, that was not
Dude.
So we had Chris Jericho, Adam Cole, we had Moxley bleeding. Yeah, we've had
and
product
placement. Yeah. So AEW, thank you again for another episode of Dude. I don't even know if we can do one of these for WWE. Maybe we can try to figure it out.
Bray Wyatt edition or something.
Oh, yeah, just pure Bray Wyatt. The Bray Wyatt Dude edition. But all right, everyone. Well, that's it. That was AEW Friday. We got next week, the road to WrestleMania. I already have some questions I want to ask Shooting Star Press about things because we got Cody and Roman and a bunch of other hot stuff going on. Brock Lesnar versus Omos. I mean, we're excited for this kind of stuff. And then we got AEW too. Next week, we'll have predictions. So that'll be our segment because we going into Revolution next week. Yeah. So a lot of stuff going on next week. So make sure to tune in to Two Dudes with Attitudes. Make sure to like us, follow us, 5-star us on Spotify and Apple Music. Tell your friends, keep it going. Let's get this thing big, y'all.
Yeah, we think we're the best, most underrated podcast out there.
For sure.
We need all the support we can get to make us not underrated, properly rated and
properly.
But also one thing too, next week we are going to have Mr. B-Roll himself. He's going to be on our podcast. Right. He's coming on for WWE Wednesday. As far as I know, as long as his schedule is still clear. He's coming on with us. We're going to be talking all things WWE. So we're excited to have one of our number one fans joining us. He's a good dude, and it'll be a fun episode next.
I don't even think he watches WWE, so it'll be interesting. I think he only watches AEW. We'll see how that goes, huh? We'll see how that goes. He's only our second guest, so
you got big shoes to fill there, B-Roll, if you're out there, because we had Santi on from Straight Shoot, but. This should be a fun week. It should be a fun episode on Wednesday, talking WWE with B-Roll Jeezy. Off the
easy. All right, y'all. We'll see you Wednesday with B-Roll, y'all. Thank you for tuning in.
Yep.
Two Dudes Attitudes.
That's right.